And we are live. So, welcome to episode 269 of An American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, we've got the return of Spyder Dobrofsky, and this is like his 4 billionth time on the show. Every time he comes on, he's got a new project, and so he's here once again. It's good to see you, man. It's been a few months since the last time.
Yeah, man, we're just making one movie after the other, I guess.
That's the way it's done, man. That's the way it's done. At least that's what they tell me. We've got on the bottom right here, the brick wall herself. No, I'm just kidding. We've got Isabelle Hahn. And thank you for taking the time to join me. I appreciate it this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you are.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Looks like Jonathan to
the technological,
Jonathan Charles. He's going to make an entrance momentarily.
Of such. Okay, I'm going to adjust him for a second, and then when he comes back in, I'm happy to let him back in. So, if I'm not mistaken, you have a new movie coming out, and you just finished the wrap, you wrapped. And it is called The Weeping. And I got that off IMDb. So, I'm not trying some sort of copyright infringement here.
Good.
Why don't you tell the people that are watching in the stream or who might catch it in the replay a little bit about the film, a little spoiler-free synopsis? I understand you got a little woodland action going on this time.
Yeah, this one is by far the most horror films that I've done. My last movie, as you know, was very mind-bending and trippy and psychological. This one is a lot more traditional horror, and the premise is a group of college kids go camping in a protected indigenous forest and, of course, uncover some sinister evil out there, which is in the form of like a, century-old witch. So it's kind of like a witch haunted forest film, but with a big original twist. And one of the cool things is on some of the two actors who have terrible service, I guess, right now. Oh, there she is. I think with this film, which is really interesting, and I know Isabelle could speak on it, it was like, we're trying to make a horror film that has all the, the fun and the tropes and the scares and the, like the evil of like a witch in a monster film, but also has characters that are unique and not necessarily like the kind of trope characters that you often see in a horror film that are very like one-dimensional. It's one of the reasons that Isabelle came into my orbit, and Jonathan and most of the cast, is I felt that they were people who were able to really bring like a sense of realism and dramatic arcs. And even up on the day we're shooting, I'd be like, Isabelle, like, I got a great line. Like, and that's what I love so much about her, was like, shooting a film in 4 days kind of forces you to really ask yourself, what's important? Why am I here? What do I need and what do I not need? And really for me, I tried to be present enough to see what we're actually capturing versus what I thought I wanted to get, and seeing the level of dimension that she brought to her character Megan. I gave her different last lines, in the film that wasn't the same on script, because she just brought the character to life that it seemed like these changes had to be made. So I don't know. She'll tell you a little bit about the 4 days. You were there 3 days, Isabelle?
Yes.
3 days. So she did her whole part in 3 days, and it was a lot of dialogue, right? Like,
okay.
It's a lot to cover. Yeah, I think we shot like average 23 pages a day, so it was super fast paced.
So, Isabelle, like you have some horror credits to your name already, but have you ever shot anything this quickly? And what's it like to be? I mean, is it a pressure situation? Is it relaxed? Is it a little bit of both? What was your experience? What's going on?
I felt very grateful that even though it could have been a very high pressure, chaotic situation, with how much we were shooting and the limited time frame we had. I truly felt really prepared going into this shoot. I know that myself and all the other actors came in memorized. We came in ready to go, fully baked characters because we knew that it was going to be a challenge and everybody really had to sort of rise to the occasion. But I didn't feel pressure at all during this experience. I felt like Spider really led us with such grace and really like I'm so ecstatic that we got it all done. I think that the limited time frame actually lent really well to us highlighting the most important parts of the story and losing some things that maybe would have been repetitive or not necessary to the narrative. But yeah, the whole thing was super exciting. I've never shot anything this fast. I think in VHS we had maybe 14 pages total because it's an anthology series, as you know. And we shot 14 pages. I think we had 4 days for all of those pages. So in contrast, like this was just absolutely ludicrous.
So you had
Um,
4 days for 14 pages?
yes.
Okay. That was like half. That was like the average, like half day for us. There's Jonathan. Jonathan's back here as well.
Yeah.
Hey, we've also got
cooperating.
we've also got Jonathan Charles, who's cast in the film as well. Thank you for joining us. Your little tech snafus happens all the time, man. Trust me, I know. Let me ask. I mean, Isabelle and/or Jonathan, we were just talking to bring you back in. We were just talking about what it's like to shoot a movie in 3 days, which I think Isabelle was there for 3 of the 4. Maybe what it was like for you. I want to hear from you now, Jonathan, what it was like. But also, did you find it difficult to get all your lines down? You've got a limited amount of time. You've got to get it right. We're shooting, we're going. It's fast paced, so on and so forth. Is that a pressure thing for you, or does it, just more of, hey, we're just gonna have some fun with it, and I'm good. I know what I'm doing, and let's roll.
Yeah, no, great question. So, so I was there all 4 days, including our overnight and the last one. So as far as lines, I wouldn't say that was particularly hard. I mean, that's part of it. I think that the trickier aspect is we were doing a lot of oneers, and so everyone really having to work as a team in order to pull off what we wanted to do, which I think is really, really cool, and I think it's going to really shine once it's out there. But I wouldn't say it was like crazy difficult, but the hard part was hitting all the moments that I wanted to make sure to hit for my character and to really share the story that I think Spyder wrote so beautifully.
So for the people that are, not in the know, let everybody know, what's a oneer?
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. I was going to say that one of the crazy, it's one of the thing that I remember the most. We did one specific one take in the film that was basically, I think it was like 6, maybe 7 minutes. It's basically like 7. It was like 6 pages, 6.5 pages, where like a oneer, I don't know if they're doing it in like the show, the studio. The Birdman is basically like a long, giant one take, and it's basically where you don't cut, so the camera is rolling the whole time, and everything is choreographed. And so you could run, right, like 80%, right? Everything is going perfect. But if someone messes up, like on the last page, the line, you can't use it. Like you start over again. It's the beauty of having a great one. It's also honestly, it was the most stressful part was this long one take we had. And I know the first one got all the way to the finish line, and the last line, one of our great actors, just by a random thing, missaid the line, and then it ruined the last line. I was like, can't use it. So we started again, and then like a trash fell in the background. Everyone's eyes looked, couldn't use that one. Then helicopters ruining the next one, blah, blah, blah. And then basically the light is dropped as we're going, so we're burning daylight. But because they're all gathered by a fireplace, it kind of, the last take, to me, the light got like the absolute best, but honestly, beyond, if we didn't nail this final take version, it would have been too low of light. So on the last one, I am just watching them do it live on my monitor and listening. They're like, oh, this one's good. All right, we're 3 minutes in, it's still going good. And I'm just hoping, like, I'm holding my breath. I'm hoping that nobody messes up a line, because if you do, it's useless. That's the beauty of a one take, and also the horrible high pressure element of it is that it's like, if you don't get it, you've got nothing, versus with the other way you'd cover a scene, you can always cut to a different angle if someone blows something, and it's natural to miss a line. It's not like that's like a, makes a bad actor. You can, some of the best actors in the world miss lines, and it's called making a cut. So it is that we did one of those, and we did a lot of long takes and I will say these two and our whole cast, if they didn't know their stuff and know how to make their lines and make them real, this movie would not have happened. Because there were moments, like I was saying, maybe 20% where I was like, we did one take, maybe two takes, and it was like, I don't have time to do it again. And I'm so thankful these guys are like, true professionals and could deliver under the gun and like make the performance count on the first time, where it'd be like, okay, I got it. Now I just need to snipe a couple different moments. And we did that a lot. And that's why we're sitting here with a finished film in 4 days, is that the actors were able to deliver.
Spyder, you've been on here. This is like the fourth time you've been on. We got you on here when Teardrop first hit Tubi. Yeah, and then I think you were on once in the middle. I think you were just about to, right before the strike. You were getting ready for Down Below.
Yeah.
And then Down Below dropped. And now you're here again. How are you doing with the process? I mean, you're starting to get some veteran status here. I mean, with writing and directing and acting, and you've done it again, and then you've done it again. I mean, is it becoming easier? Do you know by like context, like I've done this before, I know that I don't want this, or is it different? Is it completely different every time?
I think that it is completely different every time, and that's probably the main reason that I'm still as passionate about it, is that every single project makes you realize that everything that worked on the last thing no longer works on this thing, because there's a new style, new tools, so for me, my last film, the crew was like, often, I was acting in it too, and it was like me, my brother, like a friend holding a boom. Occasionally, like we had Eric Roberts show up, and I was like, I can't let Eric Roberts show up to this set and see not enough crew. So I was, having all my friends pretend like they knew what they were doing. This time around, we had like a large crew. We had like a 20-something crew. We had cameras and giant lights and things and radio walkie-talkies, and it was the biggest thing that I've ever done. In terms of the scope of the production and as well as the scope of what we pulled off. Prior to this film, I'll admit the thing that I was the most insecure about and nervous about was doing any of the blood and the effects. And we have people dying and blood squirting in this film. And I have written that as a writer, but as a filmmaker, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. And I want it to look good, and I don't, and so I felt good about being able to work with the actors and understand like what narrative beats, but that kind of stuff I've never done, but I learned a really valuable lesson on this film. And it's one I'll continue to carry, which is like, I don't need to know how to do it. I just need to delegate and find people who are better than me and who can do it. And so I just found a great makeup team. I found an incredible FX guy who could do blood and bones sticking out through the help of my producer G. And I just like watched, that's kind of the cool thing, is that it's just more and more like, oh, I can take a step back and find people and just make sure that everyone is kind of operating within the same, like it's like a salad, right? Like I want this salad to taste good, and I don't want like too much fruit in it, or like it'll, so I'm trying to keep an eye on like the balancing of everything. Like, hey, like the lighting is good, this is good, this, the acting is good, but making sure nothing stands out too much, where it's like, we're not watching this movie to see performances. We're also not watching this movie to just see blood and guts. It's finding that nice, like, story focus and, kind of finding that beautiful balance that comes from just a great team. And we really had that with the cast and crew. I mean, it was a pretty no problem set, where the only issue I felt was just fighting against the clock, which we all knew beforehand was going to be the task.
Well, kudos to you all for pulling it off.
Yeah.
Let's get Jonathan and Isabelle back in.
Yes, please.
How did you How did you become involved with this project? Did you know Spyder previously, or was it something, hey, my representation said, hey, you may want to check this out, so on and so forth. And then I guess as a follow-up, my understanding is that Doug Jones, again, was cast in this. What was it like working with him? I mean, that's a big veteran.
Yeah.
Either of you, whoever wants to jump in.
I'll go first. So I did a self-tape. My agent reached out, was just like, hey, this looks interesting. Check it out, see if you're interested in it. At that point, I just had the sides, which for Luther, it was just like really, it was like 2 pages and like the big climactic monologue that he has at the climax of the movie. And I didn't have the full script. And this honestly was a day I had like 6 self-tapes to get out. And so I didn't even really like remember exactly what I did. And so I think I might have sent 2 takes, just going with my gut of kind of what I felt like if I was to play this is what I'd want to do. And then Giovanna and Spyder reached out to my agent, I guess a couple weeks later, and we're just like, hey, we'd love to meet with you. And then I hopped on a Zoom with Spyder. We kind of talked about what he was wanting to do, this crazy schedule that he had in mind. And I've done a couple horror movies that are similar schedule, not this crazy, but similar crazy. And it's just so much fun. And then I read the whole script and I was, dude, I love what you're doing with this character. I really feel like it's more than just a slasher. There's a lot of heart to it, a lot that's being said. And so after I read that, I was like, dude, I'm in, let's do this. So anyway, that was kind of my way. And Doug Jones, fantastic. I grew up watching the Fantastic Four movies, and he was Silver Surfer in the second one. And I've just been a fan. We'd connected on social media a couple years ago. And then Spyder was like, this guy named Doug Jones is going to be in it. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And I was honestly, I was a little intimidated because I was like, you've done all these, huge movies. And he's just like so sweet and so talented. He's got this great scene. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you can't take your eyes off him. He's so fantastic. It was awesome. I'm so glad I got to play with him for a couple days.
Yeah, he is truly the nicest guy.
Go ahead, Isabelle.
The sweetest person I think maybe I've ever met. Like, I've never met Doug before, and like the first thing he said, he was like, come on, give me a hug. Like, he's so charismatic and nice, which is so opposite of the roles he plays. I feel like he's so terrifying and like silent mostly.
Yeah.
So everyone will get to see another side of Doug in this film. And I got involved through this project. I actually self-submitted. I saw the breakdown. I thought it fit really what I like to do. And I auditioned for Megan. I sent in a self-tape. I felt okay about it, like how you generally feel about self-tapes. But it was one that I remember I had to get it done really quickly. I was like leaving for work or an appointment or whatever. So I think I maybe had like 4 takes and just went with one, sent it in, and thankfully Spyder and the team enjoyed it.
Very nice. Very nice. It looks like you've, Spyder, you brought another good team together. Congratulations, man.
It's funny to hear kind of the pattern, like them not overthinking their tapes. And the reality is you're reading someone's script, but you don't know the whole script and you don't know what the person's looking for. So it's very hard to as an actor from the outside to actually land a good tape, because it's, you have no context, and part of making movies is having context. That's, when they're out there and they're giving their performances, they know the script, like the back of their hand. But I will say both of them in their tapes had a lot of really natural moments. And for me, it's like, I'm like, oh, this person has this right vibe. And then I would Zoom with them. And to me, the Zoom is what confirmed whether or not I thought they could be in. And it's a lot of it is just the conversations I had with both of them, and being like, I like this person, and I like their instincts, and I like the way that they look at what they do, and how they, approach acting and story. And, and to me, they're both really just great people. And I really like working with people that I like and trust, because we have to go into battle together. And I think that's the thing is, like, when like problems would occur, which they did every single day because of time crunch, it's like I know that I can go to either of these two with any ideas and things where it's like, and they're not gonna like judge me and be like, I just didn't sign up for this, like, which is like, a real thing is some people, and so having that kind of like trust where I'm like, hey, we're here together. I love what you do. And I think that you're so great at this character and I'm not here to micromanage. And on set, find these moments. I remember specifically with Megan, or Isabelle with Megan and her character, like just us coming up with some great on the fly stuff. And I was like, we're just kind of spitballing, because it was like, you sometimes see something and you're like, there's a better moment than what's on the page. And if you're open to it, we can do it. And these two are able to, like, I could tell them what I wanted to do with new dialogue and they're able to, in like a few minutes, make it real and make it as though they've studied it. And it was part of their plan all along. Same with Jonathan. We've had some pinch timing stuff where the sun was coming up or the sun was going down. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I want to drop some of this stuff, but I want to keep this part. And I'm giving him this giant thing and him and his co-star, Jordan Kennedy. And they're able to like hear what I want to keep and then make the rest of it raw and real. And somehow like they're just all, our cast, I got very lucky that I found these people and that they trusted me and the story and just were willing to commit all out. It's, it's very hard to find. I've been making films since college and almost no actors I still talk to because I have met so many jerks.
Well, that was going to be one. That was going to be one of the questions I asked. I was going to ask Jonathan and Isabelle, about Spyder's directing style. But it sounds like he just kind of trusts you to do, like he'll give you a general sense of what he's looking for, or maybe even specific. But it sounds like there's just a lot of trust. He's not hovering over your shoulder to, helicopter you the whole time.
Yeah, the trust is really key, I feel like, in a good director-actor relationship, because like Spyder says, you don't want to be micromanaged or finish a take, have your backstory and emotions wrapped in it, and then the director come in and be like, okay, but like, can you be sadder? Because how do you play sadder? How do you motivate sadder?
Yeah.
It's just it's a weird place to be in as an actor, and you never really know how you're going to work with a director until you get on set with them. But luckily, like Spyder said, we were able to Zoom before. And I just immediately knew from that conversation that Spyder had an immense amount of trust, not only in his crew, but in his actors. And that's how I like to work, in a trusting, collaborative environment. And I truly felt like any suggestion I had with Megan, Spyder was an immediate yes. I went out and I bought a vape for my character because I was like, I feel like Megan is addicted to vape. I've never smoked a vape in my entire life, but this entire set I was just like ripping on this vape. I'm thankfully not addicted to nicotine.
Are you still doing
it? Good. Yeah.
No. I gave it to Jess.
Okay.
I gave it to Jess at that wrap.
Okay, good.
But like things like that, like we were really allowed to bring our own ideas and our own sort of flavors to the characters. And I really felt like Spyder was such a great leader in this whole thing. There's so many moving pieces in a film, especially when you're shooting a feature film in 4 or 5 days. So really props to you. And it was really a masterclass in how to make people collaborate together in a really efficient way.
Have you had experiences, with micromanagers? I take it you have. You do the job enough. Yes. I'm not asking you to badmouth anybody. I'm not asking for names. We're just talking. But I take it eventually you do it enough times, you'll run into that sort of experience, which probably makes the second-hand clock, work backwards.
Yeah, totally.
I've had a lot of those experiences, and it just, you want to be able to be free and feel the character and not have a bunch of things in your head while you're doing it. And one of those things that Spyder is so good at is just like that improv yes and, just like I was sending him emails before the shoot like, hey, I really think we could do this, this would be cool. And he's like, yes, absolutely, let's explore it, let's see what works on the day, let's find the truth in there. And I just loved that, because when we got there I'd be like, hey, I'd really want to try this, or I'd try something and he'd be like, yes, love that, let's keep going in that direction. And that's so freeing as an actor to feel like on such a time crunch that I still had so much time to play and explore things that I wanted to, and somehow there was freedom to be like, I'm gonna make some choices here, and I don't know if it's gonna work. And Spyder always found time to do that. So that's just so much fun as an actor to be able to just fully 100% commit and not be stressed that you're going to run out of takes or whatever. I don't know how he did it. He's a wizard.
If you are creative, you might as well create, right? I mean, I figured that would be the general gist of it.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
My thing is, and just to thank you so much, John and Isabelle. And my thing is that I feel like if I'm not allowing the freedom to these two, then I'm not getting all the great stuff that I could get, because who am I to think that I know more about the characters than these two, than they know about their own characters? So the only things that I ever truly veto are when I feel that they basically take us too far away from the narrative, which we didn't have any of those things, but that's usually my own line in my head, is only when I'm like Isabelle was supposed to have a wardrobe grave, this great what was that thing called? You remember the hat?
Oh, a beret.
Her character was going to have a beret in the film, right? It was all the plan. And I remember getting there, and she looked so great in her outfit already, and I was like, I don't want to lose this great face she has to this hat. And then I have to start explaining when she falls and the hat falls, and
where does it go?
You can lose a lot with a beret
every time.
And there's just something where, like, maybe for me, like for Megan on the page, the beret in my mind worked, but when Isabelle's got this great expressive face, and I'm like, I think it'll be a disservice to this character to lose that in, that kind of like a hat, and it's going to take away our connection with her. And I try to find those kind of things. And for me, the only thing I think I've gotten a little better at with every movie is just like seeing all the great stuff that I've got and making sure that I translate that better to the audience and don't lose it behind things that maybe seem like a good idea, like a really great, crazy visual shot, but it's like, am I losing what I'm getting? And just trying to make sure that the core ideas actually come across. It's easier said than done, because we all know what we're doing, behind the scenes, but can you make sure that someone who knows nothing about what we're doing gets that as well?
The essence of it, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and now that it's wrapped, what's next? I mean, is there an editing process? What are we looking like in terms of a release? What do we got? I mean, the last time you were on, I remember you just got off the stream and we found out that Down Below had physical media release. You were on Amazon. The Blu-rays had dropped. So what's next in the process?
So the movie is being edited as we speak. I just got back from the editors today. Like we're full steam ahead on a first rough cut. And to me, the goal is to have the film ready to distribute for this October. And the way things are going, I think we should be good on that. And, it's the cool thing is like, hey, we're here to make movies. We're here to show the movies. We're not here to sit on a movie for 2 years. That doesn't interest me. And the only time that happens is when people are just like lost their focus. So I'm kicking butt on making sure this film is ready to release in this fall. Because I think, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's a Halloween release. This is a great era right now.
October, people are ready. And it's already my whole team of people. They're already editing. I've got composer already getting it. Like it's going to be released this year. And we're going to do a fun premiere, and we're going to do all that stuff. And I'm going to put Jonathan in a tux, and Isabelle, I don't know what she's going to wear, something fashionable with some
beret.
I don't know. And let's bring the beret out. Yeah.
I'll bring the beret back.
I'm going to wear this fucking beret.
I'm going to wear the beret. So it's good to go. And, it's also to go back to Doug Jones. I mean, this is my second film with Doug, and Doug has been, he doesn't have to show up for our little small passion project. The guy is doing studio films and things, and he he's, you know, what I love about him, he's just a real genuine human being. And when he tells me he's going to read a script, he's going to read it. And when he signs on, he's going to show up and he's going to give it his all. And he had a lot of dialogue, and he was just like prepared as well, and also ready. He also had to participate in that 23-page a day thing, which is, you know, nothing like what he's used to on some of these studio films. So it was a real treat to have him and you know, be so awesome and playful with everyone and really commit. And I'm really, really excited about his character and performance here. We've got some crazy surprises with him, and yeah, Mr. Dougie.
Congratulations to all of you. It sounds like you all did a great job.
Thank you, man.
Best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. Real quick, is there anything that anybody wanted to get across, you know, that they didn't get a chance to before we start to wrap this up? Anything anybody wants to? Don't wear berets, something? I don't know.
Don't wear berets.
No, wear berets, just not in the forest, not in the woods.
Not in the woods.
No, not in the forest. Not in the forest. All right. My thanks to Spyder Dobrofsky, who has written and directed yet another horror film. This is a fantastic time in horror, and it sounds like you guys are right in the thick of it. So my congratulations to all of you once again.
Friend, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd like to get you on again once it drops.
Yeah, we'll have trailers and drops and things, and it's going to be an exciting couple months with the film here. And yeah, it's weird for me to say it, but I really think we got something really special. And just to comment on the 4 days in a weird way, and Isabelle said it really beautifully, but I told both of them as well at the end of the shoot. It really kind of forced us to just drop into a flow state and just tell the story in the way that felt the most authentic and true to this crazy. We were in this like foresty location in Topanga, and it was cold, and there was this, and I saw a coyote, and it was just like frogs at night and crickets, and I just think
a rattlesnake
was on set. We just chose to just own it and be there and figure out what the weeping was, and trusted the script, but just let ourselves let go and be present. And I think we got a really, really, really interesting movie that has a lot of depth and heart, and also some really, really scary, creepy, you know, witch stuff. I'm a big mythological fan, and I grew up, I always tell you, like, I love Scooby-Doo, and I love the Scooby-Doo movies when the monsters turned out to be real. So I feel like I'm just doing that now as like a grown-ass man.
What's better than that? My thanks to Isabelle Hahn. Thank you for taking the time to come in and shoot the breeze. I appreciate it very much. My thanks to Jonathan Charles for exactly the same thing. We will be back
nice to
tomorrow. Yeah, it was nice to meet both of you. It was nice to meet all of you. Well, not Spyder. I've met him before, but you know what I mean. My thanks to all of you. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to be covering Scott Derrickson's The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And I was this close to getting an actual Vatican exorcist on the show, but of course he's in Rome, so the time frame doesn't work out. But we'll put that together at a later date. All the best to you.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing the film, and maybe we'll meet again down the road sometime. That would be good.
That would be
Take
good.
care, everyone. All the best. God bless.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, buddy.
Hey, everybody. This is the American Werewolf. Thanks for stopping by. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel.